Hi everyone, welcome to Turnabout Breakdown, a Ace Attorney retrospective podcast. It's not a retrospective
Sure.
if it's the first time, right?
There's simply no summary of the thing that we do. It's not possible.
We talk about gay lawyers here.
There you go. That's the one.
We talk about gay lawyers here, sir.
My name is Harry. You can find me at Hera Chimera. I'm not doing any bits this week.
That's so brave.
Sad.
And that's why I'm introducing twice in a row, just to prove that I can do it. My recommendation this week is going to the cinema to see movies that have been out for 1,000,000 years already.
Good recommendation.
Fun.
I don't know if I mentioned this on the show, but before Christmas I went to see The Shining at the cinema, and I had a lot of fun. And that's it. I like it. It was good fun.
Very good to see an old movie on the big screen. I have very fond memories of going to see Akira in a cinema with my mum.
I've
That
seen
was a
Die
really
Hard
good
on
one.
the big screen as well, and that came out before I was born. So yeah, it's good. I recommend it. Check out your local cinema's upcoming movies to see if there's an old one. Or a new one, if you want that too. I guess just going to the cinema is a good thing. This recommendation's really getting away from me. I also recommend logging off.
Hell yeah.
Very
Hell
important.
yeah.
It's been going well for me. Okay, with me today, and always,
You're
Devon.
forever pals.
Hi. I'm looking at this waveform and the gentle house beats that are floating through in the background. So if that's here right now, I apologize, and if not, then great. No one knows what I'm talking about.
If not, everyone say thank you to Audacity's automatic noise reduction, which is genuinely really fucking good, because Devon often has house speech gently floating by in the background, and you wouldn't know it by listening to this
You
podcast.
would not know. Thank you, Audacity, for all the work that you do, and thank you to Jay for making that possible. My name's Devon. I am on the internet at algae_dust. You will not get any updates from me there. This is the most current you will find me online. Isn't that beautiful? What do I recommend? Oh, okay. I recommend learning a new skill where you're so bamboozled and yet you're like, but the potential. The reason I say this is yesterday I had a DJ lesson for the first time, and now I'm very excited to think about music and stitch music together in fun and exciting ways. It's terrifying, and there's a lot of doodads and buttons and twizzlers, and I don't know what half of it does, and you have to do it all very quickly and in time, which is possibly hell. But what this unlocks is great, music battles with my neighbour, who is also a DJ, so I can blast perfectly opposite beats at the gentle house music in the background and nullify
And they
it
cancel
all.
each other out. And it
they
makes
cancel
it
each other out.
creates a blissful silence.
Yeah, totally. So, do something fun and scary and new. Gently. That's my recommendation for this week, I suppose. Until you just have blissful silence, I guess.
We all have blissful silence in the end.
Oh,
Jesus.
that's true. Okay, well, with that in mind, I'm going to pass over to Ro, in case she wanted to say more about that.
You said something a moment ago, Devon, specifically regarding how DJing is like stitching music together, and I never really did think about it before, but being a DJ is sort of like being an Audible Frankenstein,
Yeah.
which is very, very cool
Audible
to think about
Frankenstein,
it.
my
It's-
DJ name.
Oh, that's fucking
Yes.
great.
And also, in relation to Hera's thing, I feel like I need to mention, because I could never find an opportunity to bring this up in conversation, but I used to work with someone who was unable to watch any movie that was older than, like, the 1980s, because he said that watching old movies made him feel physically ill.
Wow.
Yeah, he
Wow.
he said it was something to do with, like, the cameras and the film grain and stuff like that. I don't buy it. But still, interesting guy. Anyway, hi, I'm Ro. My recommendation is, was it last week or no? It would have been the week before last. I need to go on YouTube.
Oh,
and
well,
find out.
it's 6 weeks from now, remember that.
It's oh fuck yeah, that's a good point. I need the date that it started. That's what I need.
It was from the 4th to the 10th, I believe.
Okay. Thank you, Hera, for being our on-site researcher. My recommendation is to watch any of the productions done by Games Done Quick, GDQ, on YouTube. They have recently uploaded all of the different speed ones that were done for this year's AGDQ. It's just like a really, really positive kind of environment. It's like extremely inclusive and very friendly and super supportive, and you see a lot of love in everything that's done in this scenario. And it's literally just a week-long event that's hosted in the Gaylord Hotel that I can't remember the location of, where
Pennsylvania.
people just demonstrate speedrunning in games, and sometimes it's extremely funny, sometimes it's like highly technical and completely bombastic. I'm talking anything from the range of some guy speedrunning a game you've literally never heard of and they have the world record because nobody has ever played this game before, versus a watch for rolling rocks in 0.5 A presses. If you know, you know. But like being able to watch people do some shit like a backwards long jump in Super Mario, and then you hear an entire entire cloud of people screaming and cheering, and it's just a really fun, good vibe, and it's great to watch. And I really like a lot of the music ones that they do. Whenever someone gets to speedrun a music game, like a rock band, or like what was the one that they did in this one? My. Anything like that is really fun and crazy. The My one was my favorite because it's a arcade cabinet that looks like a big washing machine, and the notes hit the edges of the washing machine, and you got to be touching the washing machine to hit the notes. And it got to a point where they had 8 people playing on the same cabinet, just like crowding around, working together to solve this absolute monster of a crazy song, and it was just really fun. But yeah, I recommend that. That's my recommendation.
I'm also here.
Hi, Jay.
Hey! Hey, Jay.
Hi. My name's Jay. You can find me on the internet at JM Costello. I would like to recommend a video game this week. What did you mean by this?
I was getting worried that we didn't recommend any video games this week.
I would like to recommend a video game called Perfect Tide Station to Station. I don't even know how to talk about this game. Do you ever play a game that makes you feel like the only way to talk about it is to be very, very honest, but that's not something that you are very accomplished at doing, and so it really puts you in a difficult situation where you're like, well, people are going to pay me to talk about this game, and I could sort of elide the genuine depth of feeling that I have about it, but that would feel like a betrayal. This is something that I have genuinely never experienced before in my decade of experience. Perfect Tide Station to Station is about a very sort of socially awkward writer who you look at and you think, and by you mean me, look at and think, wow, they're so relatable that it makes me deeply uncomfortable, but at least I can kind of build this buffer between us with the fact that, like, she keeps getting into these really bad relationships, and I'm safe from this. I can put myself in a sense of perceived superiority about this, and it will give me my safe way of being able to approach this game. And then the game will take you by the fucking throat and be like, are you sure? Are you sure that avoiding genuine vulnerability is a good thing and will keep you safe, or will it just shut you off from the world?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Good game. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I feel so normal about it. Don't even worry about it.
Jay, I know how you should feel superior from this character. They've got a Donnie Darko poster in their bedroom.
Is that true in the second game? In this game?
Well, I'm watching the trailer, and there's just like a first person perspective shot of her putting her trademark shirt with red collar on, and there's a Donnie Darko poster on the back wall. So I'm assuming it's their bed.
That probably is true.
But this was like it's an autobiographical game, right?
Yeah.
And this was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's Meredith Graham.
It's more than 10 years ago. I think it's like 2006, something like that.
Right. And Donnie Darko was like, you couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't move for Donnie Darko.
I remember
I
her
love
putting
that
up
freaky
a Kill Bill poster at one point. That's why I asked whether it was in this game. But I think that maybe she replaces the Donnie Darko poster with the Kill Bill poster. I can't remember. Anyway. I have a review of this game coming out on The Verge. But it will have come out by the time I'm talking about this. So if you want what I just said, but slightly more eloquently and in 950 words, then you can look at that.
I'm looking forward to it. A lot of people are saying very good things about it, and
It's a hot new game.
trust my good friend Jay's judgment. I haven't played the first one, so I gotta go around to that, but I'm very, very excited.
I also haven't played the first one. You don't have to, for the record.
Oh yeah, but
You,
I know
you
that my
can't
good
you
friend
can't
Hera
say
will,
to
but for the
Hera you
listener of
don't
the
have to play the
podcast-
previous game that is in the
look, I'm
chronological
playing Final
order.
Fantasy 15 right now, and I did not
That's
play
the
the other
bravest
14.
thing
I
you've
played-
ever done.
Literally so true.
I have played some of them. I haven't finished any of them.
Next week, I don't think I will recommend Final Fantasy 15, but I will talk about Hera and I playing Final Fantasy 15. Perhaps.
I think
It's
one
so
of you at the
fucking
very
weird.
least is having a lot of fun.
I'm having so much fun with it, but I'm also like, this is not... I can't recommend this to anyone on Earth.
They made it just for you, and it took you this long to play it. You
Yeah, I
made
did
Square
play it,
Enix
like,
so
on
sad.
launch, and I played it like once, and then I stopped playing it. It's fine, I wasn't ready.
You weren't ready yet.
Yeah. Anyway,
wanna
what are
talk
we
about
here to
Galos?
talk about today?
We're
Let's talk
about stuff. Ace Attorney.
Well, the first one, Phoenix, right?
Nah, we're on Ace Attorney Investigations 2, my guys.
Oh.
We're almost finished.
We're on the
We've almost
fourth
beat the
out
game.
of 5 cases. I still think we're on the 3rd case. I don't know what it is about this game, but I just have deleted one of them, I think, from my psyche.
Which one? I guess you don't remember.
I
Yeah,
think it's the first one.
the one with the president.
I don't forget about the fucked up prison and all the Andibles, you know.
But that's
they're
the one
great.
that had
Love
Funny
them.
Cow and Rain Jacket and...
Yeah.
That one had Shelly the Killer in it.
And then during this case, they mentioned IS-7. I was like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, Jesus Christ, Devon. It was the last case. So I think I just have amnesia for one of the cases at any moment. And when I remember a different case, then I forget.
This
You know.
game truly has like 85 plot threads going on at once, and it has not tied off any of them yet, so
It's
much to
truly
think about for
insane.
next
We'll
game.
get to it, but my god.
Would you like to hear a summary of the second section of this case?
Yes, please.
Okay. In the second section of the case, we descend into the hatch to find a storeroom of evidence from historic cases and discover that these pieces are being sold off at a secret auction, were being sold off at a secret auction on the night of the murder. We get witness testimony from returning fan favourite Lotta Hart, who tells us that all the attendees were in masks with voice changers, but that the ringleader was wearing the outfit we saw Rosie wearing, and they had a tattoo on their face. We also do mind chess against Lotta and learn that she witnessed a murder. Through her testimony and a photograph, we establish that Rosie was killed during the auction, put in a box in the storeroom. However, she survived her injury and went to the roof, where Kay stumbled across her, which is when Kay saw her. Done with our investigation of the storeroom, we head down to the committee chamber and cross paths with Fran. Showing that the crime took place in the storeroom binds us more time, and we also establish that Rosie was not the ringleader but a customer. This carries us to the arrival of Gavel and Excelsius, who show us a photo of the red raincoat. This unlocks one of Kay's memories, where she saw the woman in the raincoat collapse before her. Kay interprets this to mean she killed Rosie, and Excelsius pushes hard for Kay's arrest. He also gets Edgeworth arrested for a legal investigation. In the detention centre, we mind chess with Excelsius, and at the end of which he says that the truth is his to establish, and Kay being guilty is a truth he manufactured. The next day is Edgeworth's hearing, which by proxy ends up being a trial to prove Kay's innocence. During the hearing, we manage to prove the murder happened in the storeroom via blunt force trauma, and through this we learn the autopsy report was altered to reverse the order of injuries. It transpires that Needler was a co-conspirator to protect her grandma, who had doctored the autopsy report in the IS-7 case. The links to evidence forgery closes the net around Excelsius, but his final defence is that he doesn't have a face tattoo. Eustace, who is here by the way and having a horrible time, is shocked by him saying this and challenges his dad. Excelsius shuts him down and Eustace flees the room. We finally realise that Excelsius is wearing a wig, and in a fit of rage he accidentally sets fire to it and reveals the mark on his face. This leads to his confession, mostly of he murdered Rosie so that he could get away with what he was doing, which is selling evidence and forgery. Finally, we hand Kay's promised notebook back to her, which unlocks all of her memories. She clarifies what happened to her. She was told to meet someone at Gord Lake, and there she met the person in the red raincoat. She got drugged, woke up at a big building. There she saw Rosie's body and, in shock, fell into the hatch. Finally, we receive a transceiver in the storeroom, and we are contacted by Shelley the Killer, who says a mastermind has been behind all of this, and asks us what we're going to do when we no longer have a badge. Much to think about.
Much to think about.
Much to think about.
Have any of you guys been to an auction?
No.
No. I've bought things from an auction, but I wasn't there.
So they probably do all just go like this, huh?
someone
always
gets
dies.
killed, yeah.
Yeah.
They're always wearing funny cartoon kids masks.
Well, this one was like a rich people auction, I think.
It wasn't eBay.
And there's always like a level of perversion around those. I don't think regular auctions are like this.
They need some kind of thing to spend their money on before they even got to the auction. So it's about buying, as your voice changer and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So we entered into this room, and immediately, like, there's every piece of evidence that's existed in everything.
So
It seems like the
funny.
fan favorite thing that is here is, of course, our favorite thing, Bink.
Yeah.
Bink!
It's literally
Who
got
could
Whit
forget
Crystal in
Bink?
it.
It's Bink!
They literally put Whit Crystal in Bink.
I don't think that we should list out every single piece of evidence that's in here because there are so many, but is there any favorites that we want to hit?
How else are we gonna pad time, Jay?
We do not need to pad time ever in our whole lives.
We don't need to pad time. What are we? Case 4 evasive attorney investigations 2?
Wah, wah.
My favourite thing in here is the victory through compromise sign
Yep.
Yeah, that is good.
from
Deep cut.
Furio Tigre's office.
Yeah.
I like that Mr. Monkey's here.
I love
Oop,
that Mr. Monkey is here.
And his
Okay.
I swear it didn't look like that before.
Well, you know how it is with upscale graphics.
Edgeworth says it's Mrs. Monkey.
Oh.
Classic Edgeworth.
And then we have to hit the desk. That's not what I meant. We have to
We
mention
have
the
to
desk.
hit the desk.
Ace Attorney. We have to mention the desk because people went so fucking crazy about the incidental line about this desk that I only vaguely remembered it. And I thought that we hadn't, like, mentioned it in the notes. And then I saw, like, Ro had actually screenshot it. And I was like, oh, that's nothing.
Yeah.
But people lost their minds about this.
The full line is there are 4 male figures acting as legs holding up the tabletop in the center. It's hideously cringy, and it doesn't even have the good decency to be camp enough to loop back around. I got so caught up on the word cringy that I didn't even pick up on the camp thing.
I'm gonna be honest, I feel like they've used the word cringy before.
Maybe in this game, it just feels so like cringe
Contemporary.
and cringe culture just wasn't a thing when this game came
Yeah.
out.
I feel like you would have said distasteful. Like, that's what
Right,
I
yeah.
coded.
It doesn't strike me as something that Edgeworth would say.
No, Devin is so right. It should
Yeah.
be distasteful.
I know this man.
He would say camp.
He would say
He would say camp. He knows very well what that means.
No, he would think camp. He wouldn't say it out loud.
That's very true. This is thinking, to be fair, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Exactly. Like, they nailed that.
Well, maybe he only says cringe while he's thinking.
He is a Steel Samurai enjoyer. So maybe he's got some of the, like, cool lingo from the kids.
We do get a lot of that in this room, which is very nice as well. Edgeworth looks at the masks and has quite a few thoughts about the Steel Samurai, and there's also a very nice moment where him and Emma agree that it's Steel Samurai all the way. Fuck the German ninja.
Fuck the German ninja. It's crazy how much Edgeworth's perspective on people is coloured by their enjoyment of a children's show.
And he's
I
so right.
can understand that.
What was the thing you said, Ro, about, like, he should be posting about Steven Universe online now?
Oh, yeah.
Lose my mind.
So, if you on the back wall with all of the stuff from the embassy, like the Bink and stuff, they've also got the little doll of the Iron Infant, and Edgeworth goes full on into like analysis of the Iron Infant's character. And what does he say? He was born burdened with the knowledge that he too would one day be called upon to fight for justice. I can't imagine the pressure that put him under, more than most people could bear. Yes, he's young, but you can sense it nonetheless, a certain tragic refinement. He is talking about a baby from a children's show.
Okay, he's also talking about himself being
He's
brought up by a
he's
defense lawyer
obviously
and then
talking
the
about
lawyer
himself
dies.
vicariously through the children's show that he enjoys to watch. But he is still talking about a children's show for children and a baby from the show for children that he watches.
Was the baby even in the show, or was that like a theatre-specific
Oh, God. I mean,
introduction?
I don't know, actually.
Steel Samurai has only gotten pregnant on stage.
Miles Edgeworth 3-hour video essay, the reason why the Steel Samurai stage shows are the most thematically resonant part of the Steel Samurai.
God, I'm
mean-
really glad that he, at the end of this case, is like, I don't know if I want to give my prosecutor's badge back, because this is the beautiful world he could live in instead. He could be a content creator.
That's what happens at the end
Yeah.
of this game. I'm sorry to spoil this for all of you.
You
Oh.
know he'd be the kind of person
Shit.
that has a furry avatar.
I don't think
Steel Samurai sonar.
he's not self-accepting enough for this.
Oh, true. He thinks about it, but he feels bad about it.
It would start as something he has to. He would see other content creators with furry avatars, and he would think, that seems like a good way of maintaining my anonymity.
Yeah.
And it just looks just like him.
Yeah.
And he does not realize this.
600 post Reddit thread that's like, I'm pretty sure Steel Samurai Lover 01 is the hit prosecutor Miles Edgeworth. Alright, what the fuck are we talking about?
There's loads of stuff from games that we played before. That's fun. We do some weird girl stuff with Emma.
We get to use the power of the Nintendo DS for 5 seconds.
Yeah, we spray for some bloodstains, of which we find one on the stairs, as if someone was, like, climbing the stairs, and we find a little smear in the lift as well.
They made the blood spraying mechanic a lot worse in this game, I feel like.
I felt like they were just getting the, like, cliff notes of really Emma as a whole in this one. She is very underutilized.
Yeah.
Emma talks about Kay like they've been on a huge adventure together and that Emma wasn't in exactly 2 scenes of Ace Attorney Investigations. And it I don't know. It doesn't hit for me, I'm afraid. I wish there was more Emma.
Yeah.
It's a very pointing reference that she's here at all, as it was in Investigations 1.
Yeah.
Sad.
I really wanted to dig into 1.5 just a little bit. Just a tiny bit.
Not possible.
It's not canon to anything until they make it canon to something.
The thing is, if it's not canon, then why is Emma here at all?
Yeah, it's canon because Emma exists.
But to what extent does any of her existence relate to her involvement in 1.5?
Well, you know, they were like, oh, this case where it's like thematically extremely relevant to 1.5, we don't have room. Which, to be fair, they kind of didn't, because Jesus Christ, a lot is going on in this case.
Because, yeah, it does mirror 1.5 a lot, especially in the villain is very GAN-coded.
So GAN-coded.
I feel like they were kind of like, oh, well, we're addressing the same theme, so we should bring Emma in, but then they didn't, they were just like, the themes are here.
Yeah.
We already did
we
the
are
themes.
exploring the themes, but we're not, like, actually kind of one-to-one.
Emma is not involved in the themes. She is just there.
That's very true.
I mean, not to talk too broadly, but I feel like they did that with a lot of characters in this case. Like, even Franziska, I feel like, doesn't get enough
Yeah, I agree with that.
exploration either.
Yeah. Though I think that's pretty consistent with the treatment of her character throughout the entire franchise.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Great news there, somebody else is here. Why get behind me, because you lot hate her so much and I love her.
I thought we got away with it in
I thought we got away with
case
it. I thought
5
we were
of the
free.
first game when she
I
wasn't
thought
named.
case 1 of this game meant we would never see her again.
Yeah, I also thought that. But no,
As
it
if
was...
they weren't foreshadowing for her to be here the whole time.
I'm not used to them foreshadowing something really subtly
I guess.
instead of just being really overt about it. So it did completely blindside me.
My friend Lotta is here.
Yay! Fan favourite, lots of heart.
Mhm.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Oh my god.
Admittedly, I think this was probably the only case that she's been in where her being here isn't immediately a detriment to everything that we're trying to do.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think a lot of this comes out of the way that, like, the writing in Investigations is just so different to the original series as well, like the original trilogy, because, like, everyone kind of gets softened. Like, I think she was less abrasive than usual. Also, she didn't do, like, the big lie and turnaround. She was just like, I'm not ready to talk about a murder yet, which is kind of, like, fair enough. That's kind of stressful.
She's also doing,
She did
like,
actually witness
genuine,
something.
real journalism in a way that has
Yeah.
never been true before. She has snuck in it to try and find out about this illegal auction.
Before she was a cryptozoologist, and then she was taking pictures of ghosts, and
And she was a celebrity photographer.
yeah, she was a celebrity photographer, and now she's actually for real really a journalist.
I have a question. She is not happy with Edgeworth due to something that happened in their past, and I can't figure out which case this is referring to. Because Edgeworth wasn't the prosecutor for 1.4.
Might be 2-4.
That's what I landed on, but I couldn't remember if he was the prosecutor for when she testified.
Admittedly, I think whenever
He is the
Lotta
prosecutor
Hart
for the whole
was-
case, right? Yeah.
Whenever Lotta Hart was on the stand testifying, she ended up making enemies of everyone.
Yeah. But was she in the third game?
No, I don't think so.
Wow.
But she was in 2-2. That might be when...
Yeah.
Oh no, because that Edgeworth wasn't
was
there
Fran.
in 2-2. Yeah.
That's why Fran was pissed off with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You
really
lied
like
that one time.
You lied that one time. You can't do that at court.
Oh, Fran, absolutely phenomenal.
She's an arbiter of truth and justice.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's the
sure.
Lotta report. What's she doing here? What's really funny is, like, if you haven't finished investigating the room, you're just like, well, let's just leave her alone for now.
Yeah.
It's not a particularly
ignore her.
large room.
I mean, we
funny.
ignored her at the
Also,
embassy.
She's been
in
there since
Investigation
the
12.
murder. She must be so fucking tired and, like, hungry. And it's
Will
just
she
not even
take a nap?
mentioned. She took a nap.
Yeah, she
and then
did take a
hasn't
nap.
eaten for, like, 24 hours or something.
She might have brought a granola bar with her.
So true.
She's a prepared and thoughtful journalist. So we investigate all this stuff and we're like, oh, well, it's being sold. So we learn that this is an auction. And then, in the most sinister way possible, Edgeworth is like, I'm gonna use Mind Chest to make Lotta say the truth. But it really, and we all kind of picked up on the fact that it kind of sounds like he's gonna torture her for information. I
It
don't
really does
understand
sound
why
like
they
that.
put it like this.
Mind chess is like torture in a way.
It's horrible, actually.
Because you can't seem to leave the situation.
You're in
No, he's trapped you in
the
his
chest
mind powers.
dimension.
Because when you do it with Winner later, he could just walk away. There's nothing stopping
Yeah.
him.
But he just doesn't. He keeps going, I'm so busy, I don't have time for this, and he just carries on. It's so funny. I like the idea of him getting trapped in that because he's just like because of his ego, I guess. But instead
Yeah.
he's just like, I guess I'll just
Mind
stand
chess
here.
is a paralyzing agent.
Yeah. What do we even get from this mind chest with Lotta? Basically, just she's like, I heard someone
Yeah,
get
it's-
killed, for sure.
You're just
I
getting
heard
Yeah.
yeah.
And this is where we also find out that the body must have left via the ladder, and this is when you're like, okay, time to investigate for blood, and there's blood on him.
Yeah.
Also,
find
mechanically
blood in the
speaking,
box.
this mind chess is probably the weirdest one yet because there's no really. I think you bide your time like twice in the entire thing, but other than that, you're just like really going for the throat.
I mean, Edgeworth loves to yell at Lotta. What else is new?
Edgeworth loves to yell at women.
Edgeworth loves to yell at women.
Kind of nice to have a really aggressive one to sort of mix things up.
Because this one was him doing torture.
Although I will say I made a mistake like one time and it took like a third of my timer off, and that was really scary.
Yeah, that was so scary. I did the same thing. I think, like, even when you're talking to Excelsius later, every time you do something incorrectly,
It's,
it
like,
takes like a
normal,
tiny
yeah.
little chip of health. But yeah, getting something wrong with Lotta, she doesn't fuck around. She'll waste so much of your time.
It's what she's good at.
It is absolutely what she's good at.
So Lotta heard a murder. She didn't see it. She was hiding behind the big Elifred statue from Plain Case. She heard people talking and then arguing and then fighting, and then she snapped a photo of someone in the red raincoat climbing up the ladder.
Weird.
And that's it. She couldn't identify any voices because they were wearing voice changes.
Everyone gets on the elevator at this point, which is just chilling in one part of the room. And the elevator goes down, and they're like, oh my god, we're on the 50th floor. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Of course it does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There are
it's
5
very
people
funny.
here, by the way. Eddie's here. We haven't mentioned him.
Yeah.
He's being very protective of Kay.
Eddie, Emma, Kay, Edgeworth, and Lotta?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we go
And
down and
that's the end of
Fran's
the Emma Weird Girl segment.
here. Emma
she, like, follows
basically
you
doesn't
around
exist
very
for the rest of
briefly.
the game.
Yeah.
We'll talk about when she disappears, because it is quite funny. Like
I
when she
don't
actually
remember
disappears.
at all when she
But she doesn't really do anything for the rest of the game. The elevator goes down. We're right in the middle of the blood, in front of the goddess of justice statue. Weird.
What? Fran is here, and she starts killing everybody.
As
with
is
her
her
work.
right.
Everyone's
She's
getting
very
beaten.
mad.
She only has 2
She's
people.
so pissed off.
She hits Eustace, then Eustace, then Eustace, then Eustace, then Gumshoe, and then Eustace again.
Oh, yeah.
Eustace and Gumshoe are also
Oh,
here.
Eustace. Oh, Eustace.
Claims that she's trying to hit Edgeworth, but the Eustace keeps getting in the way.
Keeps missing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. no one really asks about the elevator, and they all just seem to, like, delete the fact that we've just descended from the sky for the rest of this conversation.
The whole
which
of the
is
next
so
argument
stupid.
is just Francisca being like, the murder definitely took place in this room, and you're like, well, we just investigated upstairs, but you didn't bother to ask us about this, so that's the whole argument.
It's so silly. And then, the whole argument is just like, yeah, it happened up there. And she's just like, oh, okay, I guess. And then Excelsius and Gavel show up.
Well, there's one more argument with Fran where she's like the contradiction is just like the auction continued after the murder, which is, I guess, important later. But again, it's just like, Fran, what are you doing right now?
They do say this eventually, but there's like, they can be explained so quickly by just saying there was more than one auctioneer. And they do eventually say, no, there was only one. But like, how the fuck do we know that?
Not important because Excelsior is here, Excelsius, and he says, "Call me Celsius," and the only person who does is poor little Eustace.
His son.
Oh.
Yeah.
His son just does as he's told. It's awful.
Hera took a screenshot of the exact conversation, which is honestly extremely funny / fucked up, where Excelsior says, "Please, everyone, feel free to call me Celsius. Yes, that'll do nicely." And Eustace says, "All right, Celsius, what are you doing here?" And Excelsior says, "Oh, I just stopped by to see how my bone-headed boy was getting along." Awful.
So awful. He's so horrible to him. This was the point at which I had a full-on, like, page of notes saying, "Stop bullying him." Red hot flame text.
Who wins Worst Father of the Year? Is it Excelsius or is it Gusto?
You can't continue to abuse your child after you abandon them. And
Yeah,
I think
that
that's
is
really
true.
where Gusto went wrong.
Where he went wrong?
Yeah, because then he's not winning Worst Father of the Year.
Yeah. I'm on the panel.
He should be worse. He should be worse. This committee room is just going to change to the committee for Worst Father of the Year, because it's basically the same thing and all the same people will be there.
They have a statue of Von Karma in the background instead of the Goddess of Justice.
This is where we can segue to Dadworth conversation. Because Edgeworth is under scrutiny for not being the Worst Father of the Year. He's not super Dadworth in this, but there's moments.
I'm so stymied from saying what I want to say. It is very upsetting.
We will get there.
We will get there.
So far away from this.
Dadworth conversations will continue. These games will continue to be interested in fathers for a while. Let me put that little teaser in here.
There's like an argument here where Fran is like, I'm here on behalf of Interpol, so I'm taking over. And then the committee is just like, no, get out. We gotta call in the Lang Gang.
Still hasn't appeared, by the way.
Yeah, I forgot about that. He was
Where
in
is he?
They're
case
still
2.
called the Lang Gang, but they don't have Lang.
Oh, sad. Excelsius basically just arrests Kay and
Also Edgeworth. Yeah.
Very funny that he arrests Edgeworth because it's just like, you've been investigating illegally. I'm like, what crime is that? Like, what crime is this? And Edgeworth goes, I thought, like, I kind of forgot what happened here, and I was like, okay, well, they're just, like, saying that he has to get out, which is fair, because this is their, like, space that they own. But no, he goes to jail.
That's on your permanent record now, Edgeworth. You'll never
Yeah.
work in this city again.
He goes to the jail.
The
The
jail,
one
we've been here
jail.
before. There was a dead body in here.
Wow. Same cell.
We
I
didn't
was
let
sad
us
that
check to
there
see if the
wasn't-
tunnel was still there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I was sad that there wasn't any comment on whether the tunnel was still there or not. It would be really funny if he was just like, well, I'm just going to leave.
To the other prison. I'm going to be more in prison.
But yeah, he goes more in prison, and then he talks to his good friend,
Canis?
Canis, yeah. And then they
That's true.
get out together.
Freedom. Oh, and then they have a ragtag adventure across the American West in a car.
Well, how do you catch serial killer Shelly Keller? Well, you need a serial killer on your side.
Oh, you're doing a Silence of the
Fuck.
Lambs thing again. Okay.
Every goddamn episode we make a better Ace Attorney. I mean, that would fit the themes of the game quite nicely, I think, regardless of the moral dubiousness of the situation.
And I think Canis would actually rank pretty lowly on Worst Father of the Year.
Mm.
Yeah.
He's good to his son.
Yes. Except for when he feeds him knives.
No,
Yeah.
he loves eating knives.
It's good for him.
Can she...
Make his his stomach's strong.
Oh my god.
We don't really do much in this cell, and then we get a visitor.
Verity Gavel is here.
She has some questions for us.
We have a very interesting conversation.
She's like, Edgeworth, what the fuck are you all about? I want to get the cut of your jib, sir.
That's exactly
So
what she
explain
said.
yourself. And he says, I met a man once. And
Literally what he said.
that changed me.
And then he tries to cover up. He's like, oh, Gumshoe and Kay also helped. No, shut the fuck up.
Everyone knew what you meant the first time, sir.
He says Detective Gumshoe and the many investigative officers of the force, of which I do not know their names. And also
Which
Kay.
includes Mike Meeting.
Name
who I
one
hate.
thing the many investigative members of
Mike
the force
Meekins
have done
doesn't
for
count,
you.
he's fired.
Oh, yeah.
And Gavel is like, oh, that's very interesting. Much for me to think about, which is curious. What does she mean by this?
She has to go gay.
Yeah,
Well,
so true.
high implication that she's already done that
Yeah,
later
true.
on. By the way, this is the point where it's very funny. Eddie and Emma don't show up again after this, and Gavel says something like, we had to
They're
like
busy.
hold them back from like abusing a god, so they're not allowed to see you, and then for the rest of the case they just don't show up.
So funny.
That's what happens when you hit character saturation.
There are still so many is the thing.
There's
It's
so
true.
many characters.
Wouldn't it be really funny if Fender didn't show up for the rest of the game?
Mm.
Just done with him.
It's like to find out, I guess. God knows, it is Ace Attorney. Anything could happen.
He beat up a cop. You can't do that in prison or you go to double jail.
No, they're gonna have 50 characters in the next case. And then we get a second visitor.
Huh.
Who could that possibly be?
It's our good and trustworthy friend, head of the committee. It's Excelsius. Call him Celsius, if you will.
He's on his way back from questioning Kay, and he just wanted to stop by to gloat a little bit.
Oh wait, I have to say something real quick about the Verity conversation. I said
Yeah.
in the last episode, like, oh, there's a that man quote coming up that I have to say a thing about, and it's not. It's in next case, and it's
Oh my
even funnier
God.
based on how gay this moment is. We still haven't got to it. I just wanted
So
to correct
good.
myself because people might be waiting, but it's not. I'm sorry, you have to wait a bit longer. All right,
Yeah,
Excelsior.
I
so
thought
much of
this
that
was
in
the
this
that
fucking
man
case.
moment.
No,
You're
there's-
telling me there's homoerotic subtext in multiple episodes of Ace Attorney Investigations too?
Yeah.
That's fucked. How did
Actually,
they get away with that?
At this point, I started to be like, okay, this case is doing a lot of narrative heavy lifting. Where are we going in the next one?
We're going to court.
Briefly formulated a theory that Phoenix Wright was going to show up. I no longer think that's the case.
That'd be
I
wild if
definitely think
Phoenix
at the
Wright was
end
in
of
this
this
game
we
only
need
for the last
to-
case.
like have an inventory on all the loose threads that are hanging, because one, there's a lot of them, and two, I'm curious like which ones you think are gonna come back, and it like, or at least like most focused on, because
Right.
that's interesting to me. And now there's three of you that like I feel simultaneously so lonely and so powerful, you know?
I
Common
feel-
problem that
and,
most
like,
divine beings feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you said before, Jay, that, like, you thought that man quote was in this case and it's the next one. And you know this because I've been messaging you furiously about this. But, like, I'm so confused about what I remember and when it shows up that, like, I'm, like, on the cusp of revelation. And yet I'm so far because I have no fucking clue what happens and why and when and how. I just have these pockets of memories where I'm like, yes, this happens. And it's like, but I can't put it in any order or make any sense of it. So I feel like someone who's had a dream of enlightenment and then I've woken up and it's just
Aw.
slipped between my fingers.
God damn it, I gotta go all the way back around the Dharmic wheel again. Fuck.
I know.
The Dharmic Wheel
Oh.
is an obsession with Eustace Winner.
Yes. Yes, that's right. That is right. Correct and true.
It's true. All right, what's Excelsior here for? Excelsior is here to do some thematic heavy lifting vis-a-vis everything we've been talking about with the truth and justice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he kind of just gloats and then he's like, well, I gotta go. And Edgeworth then emits his, like, weird pheromones that lock him in place and
Yep.
enter him into the Manchester zone.
Yep. This game is a lot about Edgeworth's weird pheromones, I think.
I don't like that.
I hate that.
He releases his, like, microscopic tendrils that
Oh god. I imagine it's like everyone goes on about his piercing glare, but it's some kind of like laser beam that just like targets a specific section of the brain and just shuts it off so you can't move.
Yeah.
Scary.
There's some
Scary.
kind of
He's a
process
scary
going on here. Maybe we'll nail it down in the next case.
Yeah, this is one of the loose threads that needs tying up, is how the fuck does he keep doing that?
Video game protagonist.
You do mind chess here. It's kind of easier than Lotter's because his tell is that whenever he plays with his lighter, you've just got to wait.
And whenever he cries, you gotta get mad at him.
But it's longer. He has 4 chess pieces.
That's so many.
That's almost as many as you have in a game of chess.
Yeah.
So true.
What if the big final boss of this game, you start playing mind chess and he has a full fucking 16-piece set? How would you feel about that?
Wouldn't surprise me.
That'd be very funny, actually. Finally, someone who actually knows the rules of chess.
what if you open the final mind chess of the game and you have to play a real fucking game of
It's just
chess?
actually chess.
For some reason, I thought that I don't know if I spoke about this on the show, but I thought that Cyclops were coming back in these games based on some like tweets that I read sometime. The cultural osmosis is very powerful. And not only that, but I thought that the final boss of Ace Attorney Investigations 1 had like 11 Cyclops for some reason.
Hera is also lost in the Dharmic Wheel based on things that she's seen on the internet.
Yeah.
Oh god, the truth slips from our grasp.
And that's what Excelsius Winter is here to tell us.
The big
Yeah,
big reveal is that actually he's the guy in charge of law.
Wait, the whole point of this is he keeps slipping and saying that he was the one that framed Kay.
Hmm.
And that he's
But it doesn't
the
matter.
big cheese.
It
And
doesn't
then
matter that he
afterwards,
framed
he's
Kay.
like, yeah. We also get the first glimpse of the animation where he sets his beard on fire and then he
Oops.
empties his goggles to put it out.
That's helpful.
He's got
Good job he's
synthesis
so
going on.
emotional.
It's an important purpose. I also want to point out there's a bit where Miles says, "I'm not concerned with titles or roles, even you must understand that much." And this man is wearing 28 prosecutor badges. I just don't think you're going to get through.
Hera, could you talk a bit about the part in your notes that's like 3 down from that?
Yeah, there's kind of an unsaid friction to Miles's ideology that comes to light here, which is, does the truth matter if it's not objective and it is in fact subjective? Or as it said in the video game Paradise Killer, the truth and the facts are not the same.
Which
Great
is
game,
very
by the way. That's
interesting.
my recommendation this week.
I'm sure we recommended it on this podcast before. It's very interesting,
game.
but it's very difficult to wrangle because they've been so wishy-washy about everything that they have to say about the truth and justice and the job of a prosecutor and the role of the legal system. So it's a bit frustrating, especially when your friend is like, "Oh, this was said really elegantly in Paradise Killer," and I'm like, imagine if Ace Attorney could say something elegantly.
Well, yeah, I mean, the way it works in Paradise Killer is like, you can decide what happened,
You're Excelsius Winner.
or you can just, you can learn the truth, which is obviously like what, if you're enjoying a delectable morsel of a video game, you want to experience as much as you can. So yeah, of course you want to go through the truth, but you don't have to. You can just do what you want. And the problem with Winner here is that he's right.
Yeah.
Say more about this.
The truth is just what you want it to be when you're powerful enough. I know, like, we see it doesn't work out for Winner in this case, but that's because, I mean, that's basically just because of Gaval.
I think you're right, but I also, this is me, like, doing my fucking, like, trying to find some kind of theme amongst all of this that is coherent, which is that, like, in the prison case, we had Lagarde, who was, like, I guess, empowered in her truth or whatever, or she wasn't able to, like, you can only challenge someone else's truth if you're, like, sure in and of yourself. So Lagarde wasn't, like, sure in herself, and so she kind of, like, succumbed to Canis's, like, manipulation or whatever. Likewise, we've got Kay in this game, who has no sense of self or, like, stability in what she believes to be true, so she just listens to the most dominant force in the room. And then you've got Edgeworth, who has come to a point where he's like, I actually trust myself to be right about what I believe in, and so I can challenge Excelsius on a kind of more even keel, I guess, which is like, okay, a bit of a stretch, but also like it's annoying because it's like, oh, you can only challenge a system if you're empowered and you have solidarity with other people who agree with you, except that's not what the game is saying because it wouldn't go that far. So it's just like,
Yeah.
there's like, I guess it is just like what Jay's saying as well, like there's lots of like little bits that you can draw on, but it doesn't ever make a definitive enough a point on any of it that you're just kind of left being like, you're just left reading into it whatever you want, which is funny because that's what the game is saying.
That is very funny. I think the thing for me is I kind of agree with what Hera's saying, or I kind of understand what Hera's saying about like the truth is whatever the most powerful person in the room makes of it. But I think this game does argue pretty coherently that that's not true, and I think that that is kind of an important point because like there is a difference between the objective truth of a situation and like the narrative that gets like implemented as the truth. And I think this game is pretty resolute on saying that the actual facts of a matter do matter. And even when somebody is saying, 2 + 2 = 5, and they have the power to make you believe it. I don't know why I'm doing a fucking 1984 reference, but there is still a way to make the truth mean something.
Mm.
And as to what Devon said, it does often involve like solidarity and some sort of self-assuredness. And I do think that that is one of the few things that this game says with some consistency. It doesn't say it with very much clarity or very much like emphasis. But the fact that it's there is kind of important.
I guess like I am open to there being a resolution to this in the next case.
I would argue that you don't need that. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that, like, you don't need it narratively, but, like, I do think almost every case argues that by itself, because the point of this game is that, like, you find out the solution to the murder mystery. And because Miles Edgeworth, or even Phoenix Wright in the other game, is the main character of the video game, they do actually have enough power, sort of mechanically speaking, to have the real truth, like, come forward. And so that's why I think that this is actually a fairly coherent thing that the game has to say, in contrast to so many of the other things that it brings up very incoherently. Because, like, Excelsius Winner can argue, like, it's like you said, like, oh, well, Excelsius has all this power, so he can argue that his version of the truth is the, like, fundamental truth. But, like, he doesn't. And you're right, it's because Verity just, like, randomly comes around and argues against it, which we will get to. But, like, the reason that happens is because it's a video game, and like that's the plot of the video game, and Edgeworth always finds the truth because he's the protagonist of the video game, and I think that does actually lead to some coherency in a way that is actually good for the game, for once.
Yeah, makes sense.
A lot of the themes that this, I don't know whether the case of the game, but a lot of the themes around like the objectivity of truth do kind of feel a little secondary to a lot of the other stuff that's going on, or at the very least are sort of like giving way to things that are going to be talked about in the current case, and then the truth thing is going to become the more prominent theme in the final case of the game, most likely. Because I feel like a lot of the culminating narrative of this one was still talking about themes of like fatherhood and inheritance, similar to the previous case. Obviously, there's still everything going on with Edgeworth's badge and his whole agenda about how even if he's no longer a prosecutor, it's still his main intention to circumvent the prosecutorial system to attain truth. But it still feels like the badge thing didn't really amount to much in the grand scheme of things. And it was more just that it was a means for him to be put in a less advantageous position, because I feel like regardless of whether he had the badge or not, a lot of how the second half of this case shakes out is really kind of down to that one thing Gavel did.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reading to this game that Gavel has been engineering this exact scenario the entire time.
Yeah.
I don't buy that.
Totally.
I don't buy that.
I think it's like implied, but whether or not it's consistent is anyone's best guess.
I have another note on the Excelsius conversation, which is someone in the comments of the video that I was talking about was like, Excelsius's like voice in this doesn't really have much of a, it's not very memorable. And they pointed out that in the fan translation, he has this repeated like phrase that he uses where he's always like, oh, you know, or like you see at the end of most of his sentences.
Oh, he's Canadian.
And it's not like something I actually remembered, but going back and like looking at the fan translation, I never think the dialogue in the fan translation is like better because it is quite stilted in a way. It's very this is something that's very common with like English as second language writing, that like you don't realize what the common word choices are in English, and if that's just your native language, and so often like the words that are chosen are just like, oh, that just sounds slightly odd because we would just use like a slightly more common word. So that's like the main, I wouldn't even call it a problem, but like that's the main thing that stands out in the fan translation, is that everyone has kind of a similar voice because they just sound slightly off from what you would expect. But Excelsior having this little like repeated phrase like really makes him sound unique in the fan translation, and I do think that in the official localization he just sounds kind of similar to like everybody else, which I thought was really interesting. And then I was watching the fan translation for a bit just to like get a feel for it, and Edgeworth says, I finally wrenched open the heavy door to the truth, and I was like, that's a banger line. And in the I didn't write down what he says in the official localization, but it's just something like, oh, I'm finally like getting there or something like that. It's like really bland. So, you know, I will never miss an opportunity to shout the fan translation or the fan localization. For some reason, I've started calling them the fan translation and the official localization, and I'm not doing that on purpose. I think they're both localizations.
All right, where are we?
Where are we? Well, this is where, if we're done talking to Excelsius, then this is where we go to the committee hearing.
It's time to find out whether we're going to lose our badge.
Do we want to take a break? Oh, what was the thing I was going to say earlier? Oh, no. It's fine. It's not important.
It's not important. But do you know what is important?
What's that?
All of the fun outfits that everyone was wearing at this auction.
We're
fun.
back. We're so back.
We're so back. Welcome back. I'm full of warm milk, which has a inverse effect on me than it does on most people.
All right, so we go back to the committee room, and we get a CG of all these people who went to an auction, and they look.
Is
so
this
normal.
the scariest thing we've ever seen?
No, proto-Roger in the haunted house.
Describe this.
We're looking at 4 auction attendees all sat around the committee desk, each wearing like very fine outfits, like tuxedos with bow ties. There's a lady with like a very Victorian looking dress and a big necklace. And each one of them are wearing the masks that we saw in the storage room on the 51st floor. So you've got a guy with a permanently smiling blue badger mask, an evil magistrate, a pink princess, and the last one that I kept thinking looks like some kind of fusion between a Bionicle mask and a Majora's mask.
Yeah.
What's that? His name is like the big world hero.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't remember what his name was.
Oh no, the guy on the left has a beard. Okay, I was gonna say, like, is that Grossberg and is he trying to buy his painting back? But I think not.
Is that Grossberg's
Could have grown a
painting
beard.
upstairs?
It's been like 2 years.
Well, we didn't see it, but it could be up there.
There's a painting on the back wall, and I kept wanting to say it was Grossberg's painting, but I do not have any memory of what Grossberg's painting looked like.
There's
like
a guy fishing?
in a hat fishing, yeah.
You know what? It did kind of look like it was a painting of a guy in a hat fishing, so it very well could be.
It might be, because Red White's desk is here.
Yeah, it's true. They're from the same game.
Well, Red White had the painting, so if we've obtained his desk, we could have obtained the painting.
Why did they just really like that one case from the original trilogy specifically?
That's a great question.
They liked case 1, 2, and case 1, 3, and no other cases from the original Ace Attorney trilogy.
Well, I guess 1, 2 is when we first meet Edgeworth, so there's that.
They had the
That is
victory
true.
through compromise sign.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that is weird though, right? It seems like such a sporadic collection of things, because it's a lot of stuff from 1, 2, and 1, 3, and then one thing from 3, 3?
Mhm.
Sorry.
I feel
Yeah.
like maybe they were just going for like big evidence pieces that like filled the room, and it just maybe happened to be those cases, whereas maybe other cases have just got a lot of small stuff.
I'm surprised they didn't get one of the giant Magatamas from the temple. Or just literally anything from the village. I'm blanking on all of the place names.
That big rock.
Yeah, the big rock with all the souls trapped in it, yeah. Any of the wall scrolls that tell you how to save money.
We can't remind Edgeworth of magic
Oh, yeah,
Very
that's
true.
Actually,
under
yeah.
any circumstances.
That is true. Yeah.
They actually were there, he just does not see them.
Yeah. There's no magic in this room. How the hell is that giant monkey head talking?
It's not magic, it's just biology.
Pretty soon after we see this CG, we see all of the committee members, except they're all just like generic sprites, except for
It's very
Excelsius
funny.
and Verity. And even Excelsius is wearing like a black robe like everybody else, and Verity just looks so out of place.
Is Excelsius wearing a black robe? I very distinctly remember him having his red jacket on.
No, maybe he's not. Maybe I just...
Hang on, I've got a screeny.
Harris
I
always
got a-
got a
got a
screeny for
screeny.
us.
Yeah, there he is.
I don't know why I said that Gavel looks the most out of place then, because it does look very out of place.
He's on a
Oh,
golden
sorry.
throne.
Well... Anyway, then they're like, these people are the 10 suspects in the murder, and I'm like, well, it's not any of the people who don't have a sprite, so
Yeah.
that's a good start.
Their art style for their sprites looks so different to everyone else's. Like
It-
the lines
it
are a lot
looks kind
thicker
of
and
like the,
darker, and
What was the like Snapchat thing?
I could not tell you.
God, what was
I've
it
never
called?
used Snapchat in my
Four
life.
30-year-olds trying to have a conversation about Snapchat.
Hey, I'm 28.
All right, someone's touchy about getting to the age of 30. Bitmojis.
Ah, yeah.
What I wonder, what did they look like in the original version?
Like this, but pixelated, I bet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I really like the way that Devon put this in the summary, which is like, this is just a proxy trial for Kay.
Yeah.
Hey, I just noticed, but in his overworld sprite, does Excelsius have more badges on his jacket? Because it looks like there's a lot more badges on his jacket.
No, he has 28.
I think they just had to make them bigger, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see them at all, like bigger in relative size, so it just looks like they cover his whole side.
Yeah, that's probably it. It almost looks like he's wearing like half chainmail.
And Excelsius is like, well, I guess Verity can just do the testifying about what happened, which is crazy, honestly, but that's what happens.
Wait, I would like to present a theory.
Yeah.
I should have mentioned this earlier. I think the guy wearing the evil magistrate's mask is the killer.
What makes you think this?
I don't know. I feel like he was there. And I feel like he would wear a bow tie.
Simply giving
And
off
you know,
Dakota vibes.
mustache.
I mean, he does
Yeah.
have a lot of insider knowledge.
I thought you were gonna say like swag.
He does have
I
a
mean,
lot
that
of
goes
swag.
without saying.
Yes, it's the killer.
Oh, to kill a coolest character of this entire series.
He's perpetually dripped up and he knows way too much, so he must have been there and he must have looked really good while doing it.
You think this is the best dressed of the people there?
Yeah, I think the mask complements the rest of the outfit in a way that it doesn't for any of the other ones.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, so we get on to the Gavel testimonies.
We kind of figure out here that the coroner, there's something wrong with the coroner's report, that the order of events is the wrong way round.
Mhm.
So then they send off for that person for Hertz to be summoned.
And Hera felt very normal about this.
Hera felt fine about this.
I lost my fucking mind. I think I was tired. I did this whole thing yesterday in like 8 hours while also cooking a big pasta dish. And I think at this point I was just really tired. And you get to this point and there's like 5 statements and we're just... So we start with talking about Ringer getting attacked on the roof, which we know is not true. And then we're like, well, how did she get up onto the roof?
She
We need to
climbed.
prove that she survived the initial attack. And so you've got this testimony that has 5 statements, and they're like, well, how did she survive? And it's not, I just was completely lost. I didn't even know which statement to complain about.
Very common Ace Attorney experience, unfortunately.
Yeah. Because I really thought it was how can someone survive such grave injuries? And it's not. It's the fact that she got stabbed in the chest because she's wearing the coat. It's dumb. I didn't like it.
I think there's something about, and I guess we can get into this more later on, but there's something about how, like, we hear about forgery and stuff and all of this, like, corruption, but we never actually, like, engage in it, so we actually take a lot of the evidence at face value, unless it very heavy-handedly says, like, are you sure about this?
Yeah, and so much of our evidence is fucked. Because
Yeah.
like half of it was planted on both Kay and the body. And then we have this this false report. Made me mad. I believed
So
you,
mad.
video game.
You know, this may not have been the best way to present it because, like, I understand what you mean about, like, the evidence usually being taken at face value, but I really like this because we have known about the existence of false autopsy reports for so long. And even though they have Schrodinger's retconned whether Edgeworth did this, like, apparently he didn't, and yet, by how important it is to the series, you can tell that he did also. And now, it's finally happened to us. We are dealing with a falsified autopsy report, which we learn by dragging Hertz and Florence in here. And
we should have fucking known. It was they showed us the body and they showed the murder weapon next to it, and it's like, well, come on.
I knew.
Well, you said last time, you were like, they give us the body and the weapon, and like, I'm so suspicious of this.
And she
because-
clearly has a head wound.
Yeah.
I think as well, like, we've never met a coroner before, not once. And, like,
That's true.
I mean, I think I remembered some of this, because I immediately was like, oh, we meet the coroner. Oh, definitely there's something up with this autopsy report. That's the only reason they're here. Like, but I think a lot of that was just, like, vague memories of this case from deep within the mushiest bits of my brain.
It was a good subversion because they really felt like characters that could have just been, like, completely unimportant to the actual investigation because they have the exact kind of energy as, like, a side character from the original trilogy. And they could have just been slotted in there for, like, expository reasons. But, like, it was too convenient.
Yeah, I'm glad. Like, I don't know. It's nice when you have, like, characters who could just be a side character, but they actually have a point. And they progress the plot and stuff. Like, Eddie and Emma, like, did not need to be in this case at all.
Poor Emma.
Poor Emma.
There's a really good bit before they go into the autopsy report, and I think this happens a lot throughout this next section of case, where Eustace is trying so hard to keep up with everything that's going on. and just, like, the way he has to interact with people is perpetually extremely funny. Like, I really like the bit where Eustace is about to weigh his opinion on what he thinks happened to the body, and then Excelsius just says, hey, son of mine, could you take a look at the autopsy report to make sure that you actually read it? And he reads it and he's like, wait, that's how she died? That's crazy.
Yeah, I made a note here that was like, do you think the rest of the committee knew that Eustace was like this, or is this the first time they're seeing him in action?
I feel like Gavel has soaked up a lot of his incompetence, and so this is probably the first time they're seeing it in action.
I feel like Excelsius probably doesn't shut the fuck up about how annoying he is, though, so I feel like they've heard about
Oh,
it.
yeah, true. He's so horrible about him. He just keeps calling him stupid
He's kind of stupid.
over and over again. He is kind of stupid, but, like, that's
This will
okay.
build to something later.
I just like to imagine that the 10 unnamed committee members were like, this is our guy. Oh fuck.
We're fucked.
So, Florence basically admits to doctoring the report because she was covering up, or she was blackmailed into it by the ringleader, who she doesn't know who that was.
Yeah, how did that happen?
Well, they had a voice changer and a mask, so...
Did they like get her on the phone and be like, hey,
Well, yeah.
I'm blackmailing you right now, come over here.
Yeah.
Come here. You're getting blackmailed. Come here.
But the blackmail, the thing that they know about is that all those years ago in the IS-7 incident, it was Grandma Hertz who falsified the autopsy report for our good friend Paul Halik.
Paul Theory returns stronger than ever.
And she did it because Excelsius was mad at Von Karma.
Oh my god, this is the worst bit of this. They basically say it wasn't even Von Karma who did the forgery. It was Excelsius to cover for the fact that the detective had fucked up or something. Or like, it was
favorite
such a
character,
weird...
Ian Sideman.
Ian Sideman?
Yeah, they like retcon that, and then as part of that, they also retcon like Fran having any idea that her dad
Yeah.
was a piece of shit, and it's like, what are
Absolutely
you doing
bizarre.
here? This is
Absolutely
reverse
bizarre.
character development.
It's wild. It is literally so important that she knows her dad's a piece of shit.
Character regression.
Character regression.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense because, like, I understand you want to make this guy out to be bad, but also, like, we have this incident that apparently happened 12 years ago that we don't know anything about yet.
Nope.
I have not stopped thinking about Artie Frost's son and Gusto's son. There's got to be some significance to them in this case. It's going to be some reveal that their children are someone that we know.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about the cow kid. I feel like the cow kid is related to the president of Zangfar.
Oh, really?
Based on
the cow plush that the president had.
Oh,
I see.
that comes up in this case. The cow flush, I mean.
No, we've kind of glossed over it, but it was a recording device.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
important
yeah.
to know.
Yeah. Recorded on the device is a conversation, and they're both using voice changes, so we don't know what was going on, like who was who. And then they're like, I would know that burn scar anywhere. And we think that that's about Rosie Ringer, but then it turns out it's actually about the killer. And who do we know who has a burn scar? Nobody. But
Nobody.
Eustace is like, wait, I do. And it's very obviously like, oh, fuck. And then his dad tells him to shut the fuck up.
Well, yeah, it happens twice. We learn about the cow plush initially because Kay remembers a bit more about the person in the raincoat falling over and they had a cow plush with them.
Oh, yeah.
So we use the power of the Nintendo DS to examine the cow plush, and we discover the recording. We don't figure out that the burn scar is not referring to Rosie
I
yet.
see.
That comes later.
We do find out that there were some wigs around the area as well.
Yes, because Needler changed clothes to rejoin the auction to make it look like no one left.
This is where I made the silliest prediction of my entire life, where I was like, is Kay wearing the other wig and this is why no one recognizes her? And I just was like, maybe she's wearing a what would that matter at all? If she was wearing a wig or not.
I remember, like, at the very beginning of this case, last episode, I thought that there was a possibility that Kay was actually someone else in disguise. Knowing that there were wigs involved in that case did not even one tiny amount make me think that theory had somehow been validated.
Yeah. It's probably for the best.
But the reason for two wigs is kind of justified as like, oh, he thought of everything.
He thought of everything.
Sorry. They, the ringleader, they thought of everything.
Ring them.
I'm making light of that because I do not believe that was in the original, that theys and nevs were in the original version.
Well, this is a common thing about translating out of Japanese, is that Japanese usually doesn't use pronouns, so it's very easy to have a, like, ambiguous thing like this, and then when you translate it into English, it suddenly becomes a lot more standout.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
We also figure out that the blunt force trauma to the head was definitely done by a mallet.
Yeah, we don't... We get a big choice at the end of this act, where it's like, what was the weapon? Was it the auctioneer's hammer? Was it a judge's hammer? Was it Gavella's hammer? And I personally think it's all three, and they're just all the same. We don't really get this resolved. We just say, yeah, he probably destroyed the murder weapon.
Yeah, it is suspicious that the murder weapon is not found, but I also do not believe them when they said they managed to search all 50 floors of the big building, and we're like, oh yeah, it's not there. We've been looking for like 20 minutes, and we're kind of tired.
Yeah.
There's probably like a secret like floor 15B as well, and like a basement that no one knows about, and some like hidden rooms within walls that don't connect properly. You know, like
it's kind of weird that this 78-story building only has 50 floors. They must just be really tall.
But also, did anyone check the hammer that this woman is holding?
No.
Not important.
Not important.
She is an agent of the goddess of justice. She would never hurt somebody.
But when she puts on her, like, sleeping gown and she needs to have a hand for the candle and want to, like, adjust the nightcap, so she's got to put the hammer down.
Bring the hammer down.
And then someone can do a murder with it.
Wah. My hammer.
And that's my big theory.
I love it.
Well, here's the thing about Verity Gavel. What the fuck is she up to? Because we have a little recess here, and then suddenly we come back and she's like, Excelsius winner, I'm sending you down for murder and also being extremely corrupt.
Well, initially I was like, she senses that there's blood in the water, and she wants a shot at the top. She's the only other member of this committee that's rendered
As a sprite.
in any kind of detail.
Her entire agenda, like, spits in the face of any work that this case was doing on the idea that truth is something that always comes to light and isn't something that can be willfully constructed by people of authority that just then stays hidden forever, yada yada yada. Because, like, she's a judge. She's a judge, and she was just like, oh wait, I get to be the one that sentences people. Oh, I forgot, guys. I forgot.
Doesn't that, like, go towards the argument? Because, like, she has a different kind of power to Excelsius, and she suddenly uses it to actually be like, no, actually, I think the truth is kind of important here.
I don't believe that what this is leading into is, like, a positive scenario for the state of legal proceedings in this fictional world.
That I can
Because-
agree with.
Yeah. I think that's the main thing I'm thinking about. Like, I think the way this game is portraying this is definitely like, oh, like, eventually corruption will get found out by people who do all this stuff for genuinely good and earnest reasons. But
Yeah.
there's no denying that what Gavel is doing here is literally just, like, throwing her authority into a situation the way that literally nobody else can.
Well, yeah, I guess that is kind of the argument of this, is that it's just like, well, it's fine because there's enough good people around who will end
Yeah.
up doing the right thing.
Thank
eventually.
Christ that the one other person that had the authority to do this isn't, like, a kind of mean guy.
And we're not going to talk about, like, she's been a kind of mean guy this whole time, and it's not really explained why she suddenly is on your side.
Yeah, but then also at some point, like, they make it sound like this was her plan all along, and that's why she was, like, mentoring Eustace. So then it's like, well, did she do a 180, or has this been the aim the entire game, and she's
Yeah.
just been, like, I guess, antagonizing Edgeworth to keep him, like, going and investigating and doing the work for her, in which case,
Well,
like,
also,
That
just to, like,
seems
cover
so
her tracks.
silly.
yeah. It's a little bit badly kind of written, I think. A little bit
Well,
inconsistent.
we haven't finished yet. We don't know if she's going to explain everything to us, but
That is true.
right now it seems very abrupt, and not,
Hmm.
and by the end of it, it's not really elucidated on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's kind of a lot like that in the
Yeah.
this case.
Like I said, we will talk about strings hanging at the end of threads hanging at the end of this. The thing that I do really like is when she gets on our side, metaphorically, she gets on our side physically, because in this game, people on the left of the screen are the good guys.
Yeah.
And so she gets sprite flipped and she's over on our side now. It's fun.
So
Her sprite flip looks so strange. I think I didn't realize how, like, weird some parts of her character design looked.
She is very
Until I saw the sprite
asymmetrical,
flip.
so that it kind of stands out.
Yeah.
yeah, her silhouette is quite funky.
I didn't realize that one of her boobs, like, sticks upward, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting point about the sprites. I have a funny screenshot here.
Oh.
Evil.
This screenshot is of Franziska and Lotte on the evil side of the screen.
How could
I
this
guess
be?
they ran out of room on the good side because there's two.
I think
fucking
this is when you were
characters.
arguing with Franziska, to be fair.
That's the thing. Like, anyone who you're in mind chess or a testimony with is on the other side. and
They gotta be
Franziska
on the other
is-
side,
It's
because they're the bad
showing
guys.
that everyone has arms crossed sprites.
Everyone has arms crossed sprites.
Ace Attorney Investigations is a game where you will stand in a room in a big circle and cross your arms.
So true. I feel like there's certain poses where I'm just like, even in real life, I'm like, God, that's such an Ace Attorney pose to make. Like, I think as an artist, you just really, there's just like familiar things that you will always lean on, and like there's just specific poses. Yeah, there's specific poses that are just
Seeing someone cross their arms,
This
nice
is
Ace
the thing
Attorney
for me
reference.
is like Hera put in her notes this picture that she just sent to the group chat of like Franziska and Edgeworth like both folding their arms and looking similar and said siblings. And this is a very common thing for people to pick up on in the trilogy, is like, Oh, I love it. Oh, in the series, is like I love it when characters have like similar sprites and it shows like their connections. But so often, like if you actually look, it's just like a lot of characters who have no connections have similar sprite. Like Lotta in this picture is just also doing it. It's just very much a house style.
Yeah, there's one sprite of Kay in her current, injured garb, where I think she like turns her head to the side, and it's so reminiscent of like Dahlia or something. I can't remember which one it is. It also might not be her. It could be Needler, but it's just like,
It's because she's doing that thing where she's like curled her pointing finger and is like resting it just under her lower lip and looking to the side, thinking about something, which I feel like every single slightly more effeminate character in this game has ever done.
Yeah.
It's like to fit her new, like, is this the right word? Waifish personality?
Waifish?
Waifish.
Oh.
Yeah, like, it's girls thinking, the sprite.
Yeah.
It's how girls think.
That's right.
It's how girls think. I want to go back a tiny bit, I think, because, like, this part at the end, like, there's so many, it's just, like, a bunch of people arguing in a room. It's a bunch of people standing in a circle with their arms folded. And I think we went past a bit right before the break here where Kay again like argues like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this for me. I'm just like really putting you out. And Edgeworth has a very like Phoenix speech about being like, well, I just believe in you and I just do, so fucking deal with it. And he says two things. He says one thing which annoyed me, which is, now I see the reason you're allowing yourself to be railroaded into your fate is because of me, isn't it? And I'm like, she has been saying that basically this whole case, being like, you shouldn't give up your badge for me, type stuff, basically. And then he has a line where he says, she says, you're a good person. And he says, sorry to burst your bubble, but I'm not. Which is an interesting line. He basically is arguing like, oh, I'm actually just doing this for my own ego, which is like patently not true. And so I think it is interesting to be like, this is how he's kind of justifying it to himself. But there's this comparison you could make with a line he says in 1.5 where he says, my father was taken from me and you want me to defend criminals? I'm sorry, Mr. Wright, but I'm not that good of a person. He doesn't say Mr. Wright, he just says Wright. For some reason, my brain auto-corrected. And it's, like, interesting he's using the same argument to, like, do the opposite thing, basically. Not that he thinks that Kay is a criminal, but he's gotten to the point where he's like, oh, right, everyone who's accused is not a criminal. And either way, he's using the excuse of I'm not a good person, so I have to do one thing or the other, but it's the opposite thing.
He's still atoning for his sins.
It's very true. It all comes back to that.
Remember what he did to Adrian? Would a good person do that?
I mean,
that's his sin.
Would a good person call Mia Fey a bimbo? I feel like I feel like it's a point that could have got also just like more done with it maybe, where it's like we have these people in the legal system who believe so much in the power of the legal system that they become corrupt, right? Like Von Karma's idea of perfection, and Gant, who, you know, felt like there was no other way to bring somebody to justice and blah blah and all this stuff. And I feel like that could have been slightly reworded or drawn out into just like, I'm not going to put myself on a pedestal of, like, goodness and perfection as my, like, you know, as the place where I'm coming from with all of this, because that's when you end up becoming, like, draconian and not willing to see the truth, right? I don't know. I feel like they could have, like, drawn that out a little bit from that. And him saying, like, I'm not a good person is almost like it's through being fallible and through being imperfect that I'm able to, like, not fall victim to corruption, I guess? I don't know. That could be a nice thing, but it's not in the text, so we move on.
I mean, I actually disagree. I think that is in the text. It's just, like, not made super explicit, which I don't think they always have to do. I think the reason that we often, like, want Ace Attorney to do that more is because everything else, so much of what it says is so muddled that it's like, I kind of wish that you would draw out at least one thing. Because you can, like, you know, it's not a bad thing in a piece of media to have to, like, really pay attention to what it's saying, but the thing is, if you do that in Ace Attorney, you actually realize how often it contradicts itself, or how often it doesn't say something that it's thinking about saying.
Yeah. But then on the flip side, it also really, really spells out other stuff. And
That's
so
true.
I think for me, like, sometimes I just take exactly what it says at face value because that's how it delivers some things, and I don't give them enough credit for what is subtext, even though that's for me to decide, I guess. So when things aren't explicitly spelled out, I just assume that they didn't intend for it to be there, which is neither here nor there. It can still be there. I don't need Capcom's permission to think things, it turns out.
I do.
Nope.
My whole life has been guided by the morality of Capcom Inc.
I mean this in the sweetest, kindest way, but I'm not sure we would be as good friends if that was true.
You know it's not true because there's a lot of journalists in this game and I'm not like them.
So true.
Could you imagine if Jay built their entire personality around Lotta Hart?
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Fan favourite Lotta Hart in the flesh.
I did open this podcast by talking about how much I love lying.
Yeah.
Alright, so jumping back to Gavel suddenly being on our side, we do a bunch of fighting with Excelsior, so this is where we learn he is in fact wearing a false beard.
He opens with a story about how he's made lots of plea deals with defendants over his life, where they've spilled their heart to him, all of their crimes, in order to give them a lesser sentence. Notably, up to this point, I believe he has said that Kay is going to get a lighter sentence because of her confession, and he offered Edgeworth a seat on the committee for dropping the thing with Kay. We kind of glossed over that because it gets swept aside immediately.
Well, Edgeworth is like, no.
Yeah,
I'm
doesn't
not
even consider
considering
it.
this.
And then he says, every time a defendant has made a plea deal, I have recommended that they have the maximum sentence possible.
Well, what he actually says is life in prison, which is very funny because that actually, like, they are definitely trying to get at what you just said, but because of what we know about the system, actually life in prison is quite lenient. So
Yeah.
that's a problem where they have retconned themselves into a corner here.
Which is fucked up, and a really kind of funny admission brought on by basically nothing.
People love to tweet things out in this game.
Gets accused once and then reveals how evil I am instantly.
I am the worst man you've ever met.
I figured out here that it was a fake beard. I mean, it's kind of obvious. And then, basically immediately afterwards... Oh, you do the testimony where you learn that Rose's hands were always covered, so that no one saw her burn. So we conclude that the burn mentioned in the recording on the funny cow was...
It's a very funny cow.
It's a funny cow. It's only got
Yeah.
one horn.
That's so funny for a
It's
cow.
really old. It does the most adorable, like, clicks and whirs. Like, you know, the cow
does.
sounds.
Normal cow noises.
Yeah. And so the person mentioned in the recording that had the burn was, in fact, the ringleader. And we also got testimony from Lotta earlier where it had the Phoenix Wright family music when she made this testimony instead of the silly character music that she's had the entire time.
Oh.
I guess to signify that she's no longer a clown, that she's our friend. Just going by musical analysis.
This time she actually witnessed a murder, and therefore she's our friend now.
Yeah.
Sure.
She talks about the outfit of the ringleader. I think it's Neela that tells us this, actually. It says that the lower half of the face was uncovered.
Yeah, because he had a mask of... What was the name of the character?
Zervan, I think.
Zervan.
Yeah.
Zervan the Time Lord.
So good.
So we know that the burn must be the tattoo that Neela mentioned. And then at this point, Eustace gives the game away.
He knows.
Oh.
He knows.
He's seen it.
And his dad's not cool with that. And the worst thing I have ever seen happens.
Oh,
This is the
Eustace
worst
like,
thing we've ever
Dad,
seen."
I've done everything that you ever wanted of me. I got top grades in school. I got my valedictorian jacket. I still wear it. I won all those debate trophies. Is this
Why
not what
don't
you
love
wanted of me?
I've done so much. And then his dad goes, you failed everything, and I just paid and bribed and threatened people to get you all of those things because you're a useless piece of shit, and I hate you.
And I hate you.
And then Eustace runs away. So what happened here is that he engineered a stupid son by removing
Yeah.
any friction.
You slid your son down a frictionless slide and expected him to not still be all yay yippee about everything because he got to go on a fun slide.
He's just yippee about everything. It's not his fault.
It's not his fault. He didn't do anything wrong.
He didn't do anything wrong.
It's so, like, so much stuff about how you guys feel about this character was, like, crystallized in this moment. It's like, oh,
I
now everything
kind
makes
of
sense.
can't believe we got to this point that I predicted at the end of the last case of I wanted Eustace Winner to get hurt.
Want him to get hurt.
Well, I thought it would happen
Stop bullying him.
by removing Gavel from the picture, but
Gavel, okay, this is something I want to get into because I want to know everyone else's opinions about it. Gavel is basically like Eustace's surrogate mother.
yeah.
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 How does that?
There's a
How do
couple
you guys
of points
feel
in
about
this
that?
where she's just like, shut the fuck up. Okay, she says, quiet now, there's a good boy, I believe.
It's very funny. Like, Eustace is trying to say something that's just going to completely poke a hole in whatever is being said on her side of the argument, and Gavel is just like, "Oh, okay, hush now. It's not the adults are talking now. It's not your turn."
We learn from, like, Excelsius and Gavel's conversation near the end of this case that, like, he's like, you have been ingratiating yourself with my son to, like, get close to me and basically, like, pull this off. And she's like, yeah, basically. But I've become, like...
But I like him.
I've become fond of him, but also, like, has clearly become so exasperated with him at the same time. It's a really interesting character dynamic that, like, is one of the few character dynamics in this entire series that is not, like, boiled down to any one thing.
Yeah.
Totally. Which is great.
It's great.
He's a fail son.
He's everybody's fail son.
He's
I'm
everybody's
excited to
fair,
see him reckon with this, hopefully.
Speaking of reckoning with this, Francisco von Karma says he's gonna have to reckon with...
This is
God,
so
what did she say
insane.
exactly? He needs to accept the truth about his father.
Yeah.
Francisco von Karma,
Unbelievable.
you are so important to me.
You are so
She's
important to me.
incredible.
That's at the end of the case, but it's thematically relevant now.
Yeah, he's like, he really loves his dad, but that's no excuse for him to ignore his father's crimes. Francisco von Karma says this.
Francisco von Karma, who allegedly just found out that her dad fabricates evidence.
Insane. Like, even if they retconned that and said it was Excelsius that did that, he tasered 2 people.
She simply thought that
Yeah,
he just
killed
had one
Edgeworth's
bad day
dad.
and killed people. Yeah, killed a person. And
Well,
then also
that's
tried to
by
kill
the by,
Edgeworth.
And did try to kill Edgeworth.
He did try to kill your brother.
God.
They downplay the family dynamic that we all know is real
We know.
so much.
So Excelsius runs off. Sorry, Eustace runs off. And Excelsius
Stays here.
is not happy. Yeah.
He says even when he was trying, he was failing, and he did it all for me, then he should have tried harder. Worst dad of all time. Worst dad of all time. What the fuck are you talking about? Maybe you shouldn't put so much on your child. I think that's the problem, my dude.
So much and so little at the same time. It's fucked.
Yeah.
Literally couldn't have done it worse.
Perfect. But, like, I won't ever challenge you in order for that to happen. That's fine. And then we're basically just like...
We annoy Excelsius
Eustace-
until he sets his beard on fire and we're like, oh, he's got a tattoo on his face. Or a
There's a
burn
bit
mark.
where Gavel bestows her blessing upon us.
Great.
No.
Just what I always wanted.
We
Buff.
gain
We
the
need a
power
buff.
of the goddess of justice.
Hell
And
yeah.
we, like, glow with the godly light.
Yeah, Eustace.
Nope.
I mean, Edgeworth says, by the power vested in me, set yourself on fire right now. And it works.
And he does.
And he does.
And he has a
Is my
skull-shaped
chest
burn
bit
on
too
his
powerful?
chin.
It's very convenient that his burn mark did look like a tattoo.
Yeah.
And then we don't
he
see him
gets
again because we
dragged
didn't
off.
make any more sprites
Yeah.
for Bald Excelsius.
So, this does raise a few questions. So, he wasn't wearing the wig at the auction, which was, like, yesterday. Had nobody seen him for months? Or was he wearing the wig for months, except at the auction?
I think he wears the wig always.
Yeah, I think so.
No, I think that... I guess no one except Eustace knew he had a burn mark.
Yeah.
Well, Rosie knew he had a burn mark because she says I would have known that burn anywhere.
So, he's been wearing a wig for, like, 10 years.
My impression is that Rosie didn't know that it's Excelsius.
Right.
She just knows that the ringleader
She knows the
has a
ringleader
burn mark.
has one.
Yeah.
So he's just exposing his most distinguishing feature when he's doing the extremely illegal thing.
Right.
This is like in Oblivion where you wear the Grey Fox's mask. And it's like, look, I'm about to commit crimes. Put my mask
Only
on.
wear that mask when you're doing crime.
But we don't really know how well that theory holds up because we literally don't know anything about this mystery incident that happened 12 years ago.
Nope. Let's do, there's a few things that wrap up at the end of this case, and then we can talk about how many things we don't fucking know. First thing that happens is we get a very important CG that everyone has seen, even if you never played these games. In which
The Aquarius one?
Yeah. They're taking L.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a very easy edit to make. Hold on.
Well, it exists.
It
We're
almost
100%
certainly
sure.
exists.
That's what I would. That's like the most that I've seen this CG for sure. It's a
That's
very
really
foreshortened Edgeworth handing Kay her promises notebook, which immediately causes Kay to regain all of her memories. They reuse the very horrible animations of her clutching her head and screaming.
That's the floodgates opening.
And then we get a call from Shelley DeKiller who says, "Hey, isn't there a lot of loose threads in this game?"
Hey, is there a lot of stuff that we didn't do yet? Hey, Edgeworth, it's me, your guy, you know me. I think there was some other stuff we didn't sort out yet.
We never see Eddie and Emma again.
Let's talk a bit more about Kay memories, because there is some stuff there.
Yeah, there is.
Kay remembers that she met the person in the raincoat at Gourd Lake, and they sedated her somehow.
Yeah, and took her to Big Building.
Obviously
next
via
thing she
Samurai
knew,
Dog.
She was on the roof of Big Building, and the person in the raincoat walked up to her and fell over and bonked head.
Did really large smack on head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we figure out that the memory of the raincoat person walking from beyond the stand was actually from Gourd Lake and not from the roof of the building.
And that explains those contradictions from earlier, except it doesn't explain them because we don't know what Kay was doing at God Lake.
So they lied to us again. Lots of lying to us. How am I supposed to work under these conditions?
In a game about truth. they
Something
do
very
this.
important happens here, which is that when Kay returns to normal, she gets her clothes back from Florence and everything, and she's like, "I'm back, I'm Kay again." And
back.
Franziska says, "The smile suits you better? Excuse me? Excuse me? Is there some... there's
She
some
likes
gay
it when
lawyers in
girls
this game?"
smile.
She likes it when girls smile. Also, we didn't talk about the fact that one of Gavel's motivations for this, which I alluded to earlier and that I forgot to talk about, is that she was a friend of Rosie's and they were both investigating Excelsius, and then when she showed up dead, Gavel was like, "Fuck's sake."
Gavel also mentions that the letters that were written between Rosie and Kay didn't actually write any of them.
Yeah, we have no idea what that was about.
Yeah. That's fine, surely.
Surely.
No significance.
I think the letters were written by the cow kid.
I understand the significance and the usefulness of a cliffhanger in really anything. But I can't help but feel frustrated at this
Say
moment.
more about this.
I just wanted a morsel of really anything that could wrap this case up.
Well, Excelsius is... Well, he has to go to court, I guess, because we didn't actually prove anything. There is one insane line from DeKiller where he says, "I believe the truth can only fully come to light in a court of law," and then he says something like, "Well, but you don't have your badge, so, like, I guess this is the second best thing." And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, Shelley DeKiller? You don't believe that. Nobody believes that.
I can't wait for the Ace Attorney game where Shelley DeKiller decides to become an attorney / prosecutor.
Yeah.
That's gonna be sick as fuck.
Well, he's going to approach it with a virtuous heart, so...
I hope he becomes a
very true.
prosecutor
So
and
true.
changes his name to Shelley DeWinner.
He's gonna
And
adopt
Eustace is like,
Eustace.
"Are you my brother?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, all that.
He's his new dad, yeah.
I'm your new dad.
I'm your dad now. Alright, hanging threads at the end of this case. Hera, which ones are annoying you right now?
The one that annoys me the most is this incident from 12 years ago that Rosie is supposedly trying to get revenge for. Because at the end of the last recording that we had, it was really all we had to go on, and it was also extremely obvious that both Excelsius and Rosie were in some kind of fire incident, and we still don't know what that was.
Nope.
Or really, like, haven't talked about it even a little bit.
Well, I'm pretty sure Excelsius got, like, cattle branded.
Do you think that's what it was? It was like a,
I don't know how you
Inglourious
get a burn
Basterds
mark like that
scenario.
otherwise.
You think he was a victim in this too? There was a secret third,
No, it
second
was,
arsonist.
for him it was just a hazing thing.
We're gonna get a new character introduced next case called like Bernie Arsenin.
Not your best one.
I mean, Excelsius was pretty close to that.
Bernie is pretty good.
We have a lot. A lot.
Well, other things from this case is that we still don't know what the fuck happened to Kay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be my biggest question if I wasn't the person who knew what happened. Because this case, you know, like, a lot of it hinges on, like, Kay has lost her memory, and then Kay gets her memory back, and we still don't fucking know, like, well, we kind of know why she lost her memory, because she fell down into the 51st floor, but we don't know how, like, why she was there in the first place.
Did
we don't
this
know what
person
the
take
letters
Little
had to do with
Thief?
anything. Did this person take Little Thief?
What was the precious item that she was trying to...
Yeah, what the fuck is going on with these letters?
supposedly trying to get back?
Anything else from this case? I think that's it from
Are
this
we gonna
case.
see Fender again? Are we gonna see Emma again?
Where did they go? They just went to get bagels or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably it for this case. What about the other cases?
Well, many questions.
What's going on with Shelley the Killer? Are we gonna clean up the fact that the assassination of the president of Zengfar was... They lied about that? And that was the big moment of them twisting the truth, and we haven't resolved that yet. Oh god, there was another one. What's going on with Lang?
Going with Lang.
He walked in, he said, I'm a lone wolf now, and then he dejectedly walked out. And that was it. What's going on with the demon kid? That's from this case.
That's what I want to know. That's the thing that I'm the most curious about, because that kid has now shown up in 2 cases. Here's the thing. That kid could have been around in the case from before. What was it, 13 years ago? 12 years ago?
12 years ago? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, because that kid is anything between, like, 8 years old and 13 years old.
He seems too young. I thought briefly we were going to get into some Yatagarasu stuff in this case regarding the incident 12 years ago, but no. Regarding specifically why Excelsius wanted to frame Kay, but he just wanted to frame her because she was there.
Bro, any other hanging threads for you?
I mean, trying to think about how things are gonna, like, tie into each other. I feel like this kid is, like, so much more involved in it than what it seems
the
like
mastermind.
on the surface. Not necessarily that
He's
the kid's...
actually 1,000 years old.
Yeah, he's actually 1,000 years old. He's the smartest boy to ever live.
He's the god of justice.
He's the god of justice, which is why he's got devil horns.
Here to usurp the goddess.
Yeah, I think that kid is going to be heavily involved with it. I think he is the son of a character that we have met, but I don't know who. Next case is all about Eustace Winner, though, so I guess we'll never find out.
Yeah, Eustace Winner is the character in the thumbnail. It's called Turnabout of the Ages.
And the backdrop is the courthouse. Turnabout of the Ages, which means it's about kids getting ready to take the reins from the older generation.
Turnabout the Ages. It's Eustace's birthday, and he's having the worst day ever.
Oh, no!
No! He's wearing his
Bro,
party
you've
hat
been
and he's sad.
you've been subsumed. All this time you've been bullying Eustace, and now we've won you over with one single case.
All I
All
needed
it
was a
took
tragic
was having a
backstory.
shitty dad.
All I needed was him to express a moment of vulnerability, and
I don't know. I think he's been expressing vulnerability.
well, his vulnerability was just, hey, stop being mean to me, and I was like, no, it's funny.
Yeah, that's also a hanging thread as well, as we're gonna deal with Eustace.
We gotta deal with Eustace. I also like that by the end of the case, he actually got one thing correct, and Gavel was, like, very proud of him.
Yeah, that's cute.
It was very cute. I can't remember what the exact thing he said correctly was, but it was cute.
What do you think Gavel's going to be up to in the next case?
That's something like...
Murder victim.
Fuck! Why did you say that?
No, she's gonna be the presiding judge in the courtroom.
Yeah.
She's gonna have a holiday. She's done what she wanted to do. She's out of here. She's going to Europe.
I think this is it. We're gonna make our triumphant return to the courtroom as a prosecutor.
It's been a
It's gonna be
minute.
just like the old times. And nothing bad is gonna happen to disrupt proceedings.
How many cases have there been where the character who is murdered is a character that we've met before? Because I genuinely...
Very few.
Yeah, I'm genuinely drawing a blank on it being anyone other than Mia.
It's 2. It's Mia and it's Manny Cochin.
Yeah.
Equally important characters in the history of Tony. There's also who we eventually learned is Misty Faye.
Oh, yeah, that's
It was
true,
in the
but we
same
haven't met her
case, but
before,
that was rare for the fact that like we had a whole conversation with her before she died, not like multiple conversations.
So it's unlikely that Gavel will be the victim, but god damn, that would suck.
I feel like if that did happen, then the goddess of law would like Gandalf the White her, you know.
Oh man, and then she comes back and
more
she's got
powerful.
demon horns.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
Surprise! This case is actually about demons and/or cows, depending how you look at them.
Some could say they're the same thing.
My worry is that we are a like critical mass of converging plot threads.
Hmm.
And
Am I Ace Attorney?
we are not gonna. Yeah, this is the problem I have with like every case 5 in Ace Attorney games is that we end up in a point where it's like too contrived.
Not for 1.5, that was self-contained.
Yeah. This is kind of the problem I have with 1.4. It's like too contrived, and also there's so much stuff we have to get through that not much of it is particularly satisfying to me. Because we just don't have space to give everything. And so I'm really curious as to how this one is going to stick the landing, if it is.
All right.
We did it.
You want to do some ratings?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Remember ratings?
It feels like it's been forever since we rated a case, even though it hasn't.
Did we forget to do the
No.
last one? Okay. I think it's just we took a break for Christmas then, I guess. It does feel like it's been a really
Yeah.
fucking long time. Who wants to go first?
I guess I can continue on from what I was just saying. I'm kind of torn on this one because I did enjoy it, but I'm definitely left feeling like this was half a case, you know? So I'm genuinely torn. I might need to think on this one.
Kind of an interesting test of your rating system where it's like a yes or no, do I recommend this? And it's like, no, I don't recommend it because it's only half of a story. And then,
Yeah.
depending on how the next one goes, you might be like, oh yeah, I really recommend that you play this. But I guess I'd recommend you don't play the first half. of the
I mean, I
story.
think that is kind of where I am. Because I can change a rating.
Mm.
I just have to pick whether it's good or bad, and it can't be in between. But these ratings are not immutable. I can go back and change them retroactively.
Yeah.
I am just unsure. Because I had fun during parts of this case, absolutely. But no, you know what? I'm gonna stick to my guns of being harsh whenever I waver. And I'm gonna say this is a red for me.
I think this is the first red you've given in a minute.
It's the first red I think I've given in any investigations case.
No,
I think
surely
that
not.
might be true.
Maybe I gave one for case 5 of the last one.
Yeah, I feel like you
I can
did.
believe that.
But yeah, it's been a while, and I think part of this is just there's so many characters in this case, and none of them feel particularly realized, other than the winners and Gavel, I think.
What, you didn't think the 11 members of the Committee of Prosecutorial Excellence felt like fully freshed out characters?
Well, 2 of them did.
Fully freshed out.
They were so fresh out.
It was so freshed out.
It was the other. I guess Rosie wasn't because we don't know about the incident. So yeah, it's the other 9. I made a note. I don't remember where it was. Whereas like I kind of wish. I watched Hunter x Hunter recently, and they do a thing pretty often in that where they will just introduce like 10 freaks for
His name's
for
gone.
just because they want to. Just 10 random guys who are like showing up, and then they dispense of them almost immediately. And I kind of wish we got some of that flavor for the committee.
I kind of agree with that, but I also think about how crowded and confusing, not confusing, but like busy this case was.
That's true.
Where's
that's fine,
Ace
giving it a
Attorney's
red.
stick dinner?
All right, who's next?
Me. Except I really don't know what to say. I guess I'm having the same thing, which is like, this case is not really separatable from the rest of the game, especially from what we presume is going to happen in case 5, not confirming that they pick up on any of these threads. Wouldn't it be funny if they just did something completely unrelated?
It would be really, really
It
fucking
would be
funny.
good. Drop that shit. It's time to go somewhere else.
It's time to do the beach episode.
Yay!
Oh, please.
I think this is one of those cases where actually it's better to play it before your like critical faculties are fully developed, because there are just like a lot of things like you were saying, Hera, that you just want to be more deeply explored. And again, some of them may or may not be at some point soon. But the fact that they're not in this case, and also then the fact that like, I don't know, things like Gavel's son face turn just like don't really land very much. Didn't really land with very much for me this time around. So I'm gonna give this like my classic, like how old was I actually when I played this for the first time? Like 18 probably. This is a classic 18 for me.
Which is how old Eustace Winner will be when he has his birthday next time.
Happy birthday, Eustace.
But then again, and I've made this argument before, the Eustace parts of this game get better as you get older because he's more and more baby, so,
Yeah.
Maybe that'll come
I
into play next
didn't
time.
mention this. I'm really glad that we got our Eustace characterization. It's something that seems obvious when you look at it, but Ace Attorney, the series, has such a bad habit of just not doing those sometimes. So, credit where it's due.
I would argue the one place where it really manages to do it every time so far of what we've done is in the, like, what I would call the prosecutor slot, even though in this game we're playing as a prosecutor, but, like, the opposing character to us. Although, who would that be in Investigations 1?
There wasn't really, was there? It was Lang.
I guess. I feel like with Lang it didn't really... I would say that Lang is the weakest so far of all of them.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously I know, but, like, it didn't surprise me at all, even at the first time that I played it, that of course, Eustace is, like, the most compelling character in the game, because it's always the prosecutor. Raoul Devon, who would like to go next?
I'm happy to go next. I'm gonna be like, I'm so generous with my ratings, but I think it would be still probably quite generous. I'm gonna give this Smokin', which is third from the top. I did enjoy this case. I think that the Eustace stuff is really good, given how quick his kind of reveal is. Like, it's only a few lines of text and then he's out of there. But that's all you need, and I think that's really nice. Whereas, you know, with other characters, we've had the same themes playing out for so long and not really got anything from that. I think the subversion of, like, actually meeting the coroner and realising that this is who is forging evidence and kind of subverting some of that stuff was really nice too, and kind of just makes a bit more real the kind of implications of corruption and who's involved and why and how that spreads out. But I do think the case is let down a lot by the ways in which it retcons some stuff and it just mischaracterizes some characters. Like Fran took a hit in this one. She was great in some ways and really just daft in others. Something else I was thinking when I was going through it is that, like, so much of the last bit of the case is like you're just in that room for so long arguing with Excelsius, which is, like, fine. It wasn't as bad as, like, Investigations 5.
It was giving me flashbacks, though.
Yeah. And I also found, like, his breakdown a little bit uncompelling. Like, usually there's some kind of, like, character break in the antagonist where it's like, you know, with Alba, something I do think was good was that, like, he had to finally, you know, come to face his crimes or whatever, or admit defeat, or like Von Karma had to admit that he wasn't perfect after all, you know. And like with Excelsius, maybe this, I don't know, I seriously doubt they'd like re-explore that next case, but like it just felt a bit flat. I don't really remember like why he suddenly breaks. I don't really remember what his motivation was other than like ha ha hee haw, gonna make money. Like I don't know, like I did also say this about like Dahlia in Trials and Tribulations, and then they kind of do go into it a bit more, so I am trying to suspend some of that, but just with this case being self-contained, I'm just kind of a bit like, it's good for getting me ramped up to want to know more, but I'm not sure I'm trusting them to deliver it, so play to find out, I guess. So an entertaining case, not the finest work, but with some good moments within to kind of bump it up a bit.
A damning S rating.
I think
it's the meanest I will ever be.
I think you touched on something that I didn't realize was sort of emblematic of one of this case's shortcomings is there, Devon, where the break in the antagonist is always, like, usually a highlight when they have, like, their mask off moment. But the thing with Excelsius is you barely ever spend any time with him mask on anyway. He is very transparently the guy who's doing the shit. But then, like, even post breakdown, like, after you burn his hair off, you don't get to hang out with him when he's literally just, like, fully aware that he's about to lose. And I think that's some of the most... That gives you a lot more freedom to write a character with complete transparency into, like, you know, how they think about stuff and just their internal logic and operations. And I don't really feel like you get that in a sense with Excelsius, mainly because his internal logic and operations are, like you said, just kind of, like, dull, I guess. It would have been cool if they spent more time examining him after he burnt all his hair off. It would have been cool if this entire case didn't feel like it took place in one room. It would have been cool if they spent some more time on with less characters than rather small amounts of time with a bunch of characters. But there were a few bits and pieces in this that I really liked. I like that we finally got to see Eustace have an emotional breakdown. So there were parts of it that I did enjoy, and for that reason, I'm going to rate this ultraviolet, which is like kind of in the middle, but just a bit better than being in the middle.
We're learning so much about the UV spectrum in our lives.
And then it's gonna all disappear
Very soon.
soon.
We only get one more rating of it, assuming that you change again.
Of course.
Of course.
It must be
I
so
didn't want
much
to put pressure on you.
Yeah.
You know, I think about this shit like 5 minutes before we start recording, and then that's it.
Beautiful.
Whereas living the kind of laid-back life that Hera and I could never imagine.
It's awesome. Yeah.
All right. Are you ready to get in this car?
Beep beep.
Beep, beep.
Yeah.
Trying to think if I left anything before I get in the car.
Finish.
Has everyone got their
not
wallet?
only
Everyone
this
got their
video
phone?
game, but this collection next time.
Nope. We're going to split it in two because it's a very long case.
In the next 2 times.
I think that it is safe to assume from this point that any case that is not like a opening case, and even then maybe I need to look them up, but pretty much every case will be played in 2 parts from here on out.
Jeez, like every case from the next 2 trilogies of video games?
I think so.
God.
No. Well, we have one trilogy and we have a duology.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And we have a crossover, but that one doesn't have cases, so we'll have to figure out another thing for that.
God, the crossover.
The crossover.
I don't even know what goes on.
Oh boy!
I'm truly in the dark for this one.
Some things go on in that one.
Okay. Has everyone got
It's
their
the beginning
seatbelts?
of the end. Get in.
Make sure you got your seatbelt on. It's important. Has
Onwards to
everyone got
oblivion.
water?
Which of us? Who drives in this podcast? Like, which of us is Ignis from Final Fantasy?
I guess it's the person who starts the episode.
Oh, that's you.
I'm Drive.
I'm driving.
You just said it's the person who starts the episode.
I'm the person who recklessly doesn't wear a seatbelt and just likes to sit up on the back of the car while the hood is down.
Oh my god,
Oh
you
my
do you even know the message that I sent to Hera about this? It pisses me off so bad.
Oh man.
Drive safe, everyone.
Drive safe, drive safer
If
than
you
the
have a
characters in Final
convertible car,
Fantasy 15.
do not sit on the back of it. Oh my god, it annoys me. Noctis!
And that's exactly where the episode cuts.